And let's tackle this thing. So we know we've got 200 tourists that visiting 3 attractions. And so we know the middle is given. Okay, so that's great. Great news for us. So it says to draw a Venn diagram. I'm already going to get started on that. Okay, so we've got, I'm going to line it up with my key. Even though you may have done this in a different order, that is fine. M, okay? Make sure you always have a box around it to get full marks. If you forget the box, you lose half a mark already. So be mindful of that. And so what do we have? 42, the center is given. I'll give you half a mark for every section, so we'll add it up later, okay? 42 goes there. 23 said they plan to visit the zoo and Grand Prix, but not the museum. So zoo, Grand Prix, not the museum. That actually goes in here. Okay, that actually goes in here. It doesn't go out there. Look up here real quick. If it hadn't had this little piece following it like this, if it just said 23 are visiting the zoo and the Grand Prix, we would have wanted the 23 to be out here. But then you would have a problem, right, guys? If the 23 is out here, 23 minus 42 is a negative, right? So that's another, like, wait a minute, something can't be right here. Either Mr. Erickson made a mistake, which doesn't really happen, or this can't be, right? So you just got to go back to the drawing board sometimes. 63, they visit both the museum, the zoo and the museum. Zoo museum is right here, and it says and only, right? It doesn't say anything else. It doesn't have the only word in there or but not. Okay, there we go. So that's 63 there. So right now, it's already 2 marks because this is half, 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 right? 18 are visiting the museum and the Grand Prix. So museum, oh, did I get it wrong earlier? I think I did, right? 23, Zoom and Grand Prix, but not the museum. Okay, 18, visit the museum and the Grand Prix. Okay, these 2, but not the zoo. Because of that little statement, the 18 goes in here. Again, if you had the 18 out here, it wouldn't make sense because you would get a negative, right? 18 minus 42 just can't happen, right? The number out here is the sum of these 2 sections. So half a mark for that. 102 said they would visit the zoo. So that means that this is 102 as well. 85 would visit the museum. So we know that 85 goes here. 120 said they would visit the Grand Prix or the museum. So we know that if you want to use a color, we know that this 120 would apply to museum and Grand Prix. So I'm just making sure that I get this right. Okay, so museum and Grand Prix is 120. Again, if your Venn diagram is in a different order, don't worry about it. The number should still go in the right section, okay? So how many marks so far? I would say if you got all of this, this is half, right? So 1, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. I would already give you 3.5 if you have the numbers that are just plain given to you, okay? 3.5, so I'll mark this down. This is 3.5 already as is. Yeah. If it's not outside, it's okay, because if you subtract it, if you're on 63 minus this, I'm expecting that this is what you did, so you'll be fine. You're not losing marks. So anyways, what can I do? 63 minus 42, that is 21, right? That's a half mark. So everything that's now in this color is going to be another half mark every time you do that right. This section right here is 102 minus these 3 numbers. I get a 16 in there. Okay? I know the 85, so all of this must be 85. So if I take these 3 numbers away from 85, I get 4. I'm somewhat stuck, right? But not really. Yes? This, because I went 63 minus 42 gives me 21. Got it? And then to get this one, I use the 120, right? This is 120, all of this. So I go 120 minus all of this. That gives me 12. Which now allows me to find G, because I can just add up these numbers, and that gives me 95. Gee, I didn't know that was that easy. Okay? Anyways, that is it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another 2.5 marks, right? Plus 2.5. So that's 6 in total. If you nailed this one, if you have everything, oh, I'm forgetting about my outliers. I know, I'm getting there. But so far, 6 marks, okay? If you check for outliers, this is dependent on your work, right? So if you got numbers wrong in here, you will get a different answer for your outliers. That's okay. But that's where I would say, show me some work, right? So I'm going to go 200 minus 102, minus 12, minus 18, minus 4. So I'm subtracting these 3 as well as all of this 102. So I get 64. 64 are the outliers in this case. So that also gets some marks. So we're going to make this out of 6.5. Which means that it was 3, right, technically. So 6.5 for the Venn diagram in total. So if you got it right, if you have all the numbers where they go, it's 6.5 out of 6.5, right? And here's now this is all A. B, 2 marks for that. How many are only visiting the Grand Prix? And that'll be 12. And why is it worth 2 marks? Because there was a lot that was hinging on this, right? You had to put all the numbers in the right place. You had to use the 120. That's why this is worth 2 marks. So in a sense, you get the 2 marks. If you grab this number that you have for G, if that shows up, you technically, if you have a different value, you go like this, but then you go step, check, right? So it's not the number we're supposed to have, but it is consistent with my Venn diagram, okay? C, how many tourists are not planning on visiting any of these attractions? 64 visitors. D, how many tourists are planning to visit more than one attraction? What would that be? You'd have to add up this triad there. 1, 2, 3, 4 values right there. Because these do exactly 2, and then these ones do more than 2, right? Exactly 3, so this is it. So that's where I would say it's probably a good idea, even for yourself, to tell yourself, this is what I did. And so that is 104. 1 mark for that. E, how many are planning on visiting the zoo and Grand Prix? So zoo and Grand Prix, you got to add these 2 up. So 23 plus 42, that gives you 65. So 1 mark for each, well, 2 for B, but then it's 1 mark for each of the ones that follow. So how many marks in total? 11.5? Okay. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11.5. So we're going to go to the top, cross off the 12. I know it's weird to have 11.5, but really it doesn't matter. It could be like 11.67. That's still what it is, right? Just add it up. Okay.